Yeah.
So I am really excited to see your short. I would like to get an early cut of it if at all possible at a certain point.
Yeah, I'll send you a cut. Yeah,
that'd be great. What can you talk about it all, or are you kind of just saving that for festivals?
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
It's a short film
for our massive audience.
Yeah, it's a short film. We're not doing Batman here. You know, it's like. I think talking about it is good.
Yeah,
it gets more people interested.
I like it. Yeah.
So basically, it's something I've been working on for about a year. I would say the journey to this has been like a 3-year journey, though. Where, as I mentioned, my sister and I, we moved out to LA at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We formed a writing team fairly. I don't think that was the plan, but I think we realized.
I
feel like we realized we come from a similar cloth because we're raised together. You know, it's like the Coen brothers or any of those
similar
types of
sensibilities.
things. Yeah. So I think we realized that we actually wrote well together, and then we've been basically writing really bad scripts for 3 years or 2 years or however long.
Okay.
You know, but cutting our teeth, learning the process, how to write. And then I think we finally landed on something, a concept at least, that we felt like had a lot of potential. Like we almost greenlit a few things.
And that's producible.
Yes, and producible, yeah.
Because it's like, I got this great spaceship idea. It's like, great, that's going to cost $1 million.
Totally. And I think we had some stuff in the past that maybe was a little ambitious, but more importantly was just not creatively what we wanted to achieve. You know, we almost greenlit it just because I was getting to a point where I was like, we need to make something. I haven't made a short.
That goal clock was ticking in your head.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. And just like, I do think the universe rewards people who act with urgency and don't dilly-dally around. And I felt like I was dilly-dallying around a little bit on the short film thing. I was like, we need to get something made. We need to get something produced. We can't just sit around here and not make anything. But you can't just make something to make something.
Right, yeah.
And if it's not fully up to quality, like, are you going to invest a large amount of your savings into something that isn't going to do anything?
Yeah.
So I think we got to a point where we had an idea where we were going to greenlight it. We realized it wasn't what we wanted, which was a difficult decision to make, but then we kept writing, kept brainstorming new ideas until we landed on this current thing.
Yeah, because if I remember from our conversations, this idea kind of came about relatively quickly. Like, in terms of like, you had the other one, and then you were like, no, we're actually doing this one. And then like things started like pop pretty quickly.
I think it's kind of been like a slow burn of development. I probably told you about this like later in the process, but I don't talk about a lot of creative things while they're in development.
You hide a lot of things from me.
Because, well, it's like, I think I just don't like talking about creative things early in the process because it's like exposing an embryo to like a storm, you know, like
the anecdotes today are strong, man.
Like you gotta keep that shit in the womb for a little while.
You gotta let it cook.
You gotta let it cook because it's like once there's something that happens once you start talking about an idea too early, and I think it you start to second guess it and you become insecure, and it's like if it's because ideas are really bad for a while.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And there's potential to them, but if you share an idea while it's still in that bad phase, while it's still, to use the embryo example, looks like it could be a cow. You know, it's gonna, like, even if you have a supportive friend, it might not land in the way you want it to land, and then you start second guessing it, and you're like, wait, is this a good idea?
Sure.
You know, so you kind of need to let it cook for a little bit.
That's good advice.
And so anyways, this has been cooking, I would say, since Thanksgiving of last year, or maybe before Thanksgiving of last year. And then really, I think we decided, all right, we're going to greenlight this thing like sometime in like the late winter, spring of this year. And then came the process of how do you get it financed, that's
a scary check to write.
Which is ultimately you doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, we're lucky. Well, actually, I'm skipping ahead in the story a little bit.
Okay.
But I'll skip ahead in the story. I ended up getting COVID about like 3 weeks before we were going to be in production
Right.
for the film, or not, sorry, 3 weeks, like 3 days
Mm-hmm.
before we were going to be shooting this in like late July.
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed like the world's worst possible thing that could have happened because of the
Right.
financial burden that would have put on us, because there's, there was just a lot, without getting in the nitty gritty of film producing, there's just stuff that
Mm-hmm.
by pushing back that last minute, there's stuff that happens that causes expenses to pile up.
Sure.
But it turned out to be the best thing ever for the film, because it gave us the time to create a crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah.
Which is like a seed on Seed and Spark,
Mm-hmm.
and that allowed us to raise some extra financing. But most importantly, I would say it also gave us extra time to prepare for the project. That, looking back on it now, I think like it could have gone very poorly.
Would you put how much of an emphasis would you put on prep in terms of like going out to shoot?
A
Like,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, prep is. I mean, we're talking about cliches being true, but the film is made in pre-pro. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm really big on prep. At the same time, though, I'm big on exploration on set. Well, I think that's an important evolution in my process.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I used to be all prep. I used to be every cut is decided.
Execute exactly as we've discussed.
Exactly. It's that whole like Kubrick thing, which, I've realized isn't fully my process, is to control every single thing.
Yeah.
And I have a suspicion, not to be film geeky here, but I have a suspicion that Stanley Kubrick like probably didn't control as much as he made it out to be. I think you have to rely on contributions from others.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say prep was everything. It still is a lot, but I would say exploration on set and being open to things changing. Because if you're not open to things changing on set, that'll murder you.
Yeah.
That'll absolutely kill you. And I think now because this experience of shooting this film is so fresh in my mind, when I watch films now or like watch TV shows, without calling anyone in particular out,
Yeah.
I'm noticing, they were too locked in on set. Like,
Yeah.
it's
You
you can
it.
call it out because
Yeah.
you can see how it's a good idea in theory, but they wasn't executed in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be open to allowing a moment to be something different than what it was in your head originally.
Yeah.
And I think that's what allows you to have that sort of like mumblecore, quote unquote, performance style, is allowing your actors freedom to do things differently than is what in your head.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
That's cool, man. Well, I'm really excited about this project. I think it's gonna really do a lot for you in terms of like whatever the next level is, or I don't know. But
For
it's
sure.
just I think it from what I've seen of it, it looks really slick.
yeah. thank
And
you. Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see it.